I went to an orgy party with Russell Brand. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
Richie.
He's saying he did a bunch of orgies and stuff.
Oh,
He was in a
wow.
bunch of orgies.
That's
he would be
disgusting.
in the satanic parties too.
Russell Brand.
Bro, he told me everything.
What?
And I went, bro. And
You
it
went
was
to the party.
It was crazy. It was lit, dude. Lit.
Oh my God,
Lit.
Richie.
Like, and right when I got there, they're all, "Whoa, what's up, clown? You want some cocaine?" And I was like,
No.
"Let's do this!" Ah! And I was snorting cocaine with all these celebrities.
Wow.
Massive amount. I did so much cocaine that night. I thought I was gonna die. The latex people were there.
Oh no.
Like people were walking people like dogs.
Oh,
you know?
disgusting.
Like crazy sexual acts, like nuts everywhere. Everywhere, just as a sea of people, just naked, just doing. Everybody's just touching everybody. Everybody's just doing everybody.
Wow.
A lot of men, women, old people,
Ew.
younger people. It was, it's crazy. Just a sea, like just everywhere, dude.
Russell Brand, dear me, Russell Brand. I think there's a couple of quite important things to say here. Number one is that he promoted sex and lust and promiscuity. And out of this sex and lust and promiscuity, he's now in big trouble from his past. And I think this means that if you've got things that you've done in the past and you change into a better person or somebody that's trying to attack the system in a good way and bring it down, but you still have outstanding debt in the past, that debt catches up with you. And I think that if people have misbehaved in the past, and I mean, not as bad perhaps as the allegations of Russell Brand, but I think that those debts need to be collected. And I think there's two ways to pay those debts. One of the ways to pay those debts is to be arrested in court and to be publicly shamed. And the other is to go and do it yourself. Go into your monastery, go and do your appeasement, go out of society and take on the punishments that you need to do in order to clean what's in the past. There is a difference between good deeds and bad deeds. Often people think that good deeds cancels out bad deeds. Good deeds don't cancel out bad deeds. Bad deeds need to be paid for things in their own way. If I steal something from somebody's house, I steal £100 from someone's house, and then I give £300 to a poor person, I've still got a debt to that person over there, no matter how much in credit I am there. And this idea that Russell Brand, he's a changed man, he's somebody that's gone and helped other people, helped the system, trying to bring the system down, he's now being attacked by the system, that might be true. But if he has done things in the past, he still has to pay for those things. Also, promoting lust and promiscuity in society isn't helping young impressionable people and leading a lot of people astray. And with your antics and things that you've said, you know, there needs to be some sort of defense. For instance, with Rod Stewart, he publicly said in front of many people, many celebrities on public television, that he had popped his daughter or had had a sexual relationship with his daughter. You don't do that. Rod Stewart quite rightly stood up and said, I as a father, I will not put up with this. And I think that was really good of Rod Stewart. I don't like celebrities in general. I think they're part of the package to program society. But as a father, he stood up, and as a father, you got to stand up, and you don't go and say things like that. He also bragged about on public television or radio having sex with Andrew Sachs' granddaughter. Again, boasting about sexual relationships, confronting people in the family, like a grandfather or a father, that they have done something to a female member in the family consensually. But you don't go and do something like that. It's extremely disrespectful to go and do something like that in public. And I think that he's now paying for those mistakes. Regardless of the allegations are allegations. You don't know if they're right and wrong. But definitely from his past behaviour, he has done things that he shouldn't have, and he has never paid, it seems, for them. With the Andrew Sachs problem, where he phoned someone up on live radio and said that he'd had sex with their daughter, when that all started, I believe that he went to America and he went to Hollywood and he made a lot of money in Hollywood, so he never really paid for the crime that he committed. Secondly, he at a very young age was introduced to prostitution by his father at 17 in Hong Kong, and maybe that hypersexualized him. When you are introduced into prostitution is a completely different network of things. There are whores with hearts, there are good girls, there are bad girls, but usually prostitution involves drugs, it involves abuse, it involves alcohol, it involves power, money, ceremonies, all sorts of things. That's why in all religions and philosophies there's quite a strong idea that is tried to be pushed into the minds of people, imbued into the minds of the people, that sex and lust has to be controlled. When Buddha was in wherever he was, some demon sent two of his daughters to try and seduce him, or the daughters tried to seduce him, and the father said, there is no way you'll be able to seduce Buddha. So sex and lust are part of the protagonists that are used as tools in the matrix that we're in order to test men, especially men, because that's a big weakness that we have, to see how strong we are. And I think that Russell Brand being introduced into this world, because mafia controls sex rings, and when you have sex rings in Asian countries, all countries, it can often involve children. So pedophilia, sex, prostitution, drugs, narcotics, gangs, crimes, criminal activity, prisons, kidnapping, bribery, telling people that you got photos of them and they have to give you money. All of this stuff goes part and part with prostitution. So as you're going into that world and then you have sex with somebody, you're making energetical connections, and those connections can then affect you in ways that you don't understand. They can change the energies because you open up portals when you have sex, and information passes from one person to the other on multiple levels. And the war that we're in, this matrix war that we're in, it works also in an invisible world, and in the invisible world you can't see, and as a result of it not being able to see, people dismiss it as not being true. If you look at science, you go to an eminent scientist and you ask about spirits or demons, they all shudder and get scared because science can't understand where these things come from. And if science is supposed to give us all the answers in the world and can't, for something that's very trite, let's say, people might think it's trite, even though this ideology of demons goes back thousands and thousands of years, the scientists sort of feel as if they're not fulfilling their job, so they try to dismiss things that they can't understand. For instance, aliens, UFO, God, angels, demons, all of these things in modern science gets dismissed, and a lot of scientists don't want to speak out about those things because they feel they might lose their jobs. So if you know how many great scientists are mystics, they're mystics in secret. Einstein was a mystic in secret, and maybe other scientists are mystics in secret. But the current plethora of scientists which are navigating and ice-breaking the new world that we're getting into, which is the world of AI, they seem to think that consciousness can be made from their hands and the hands of a machine, which is sort of hubris, to think that you can do what God did. God created man, or consciousness created man, or an energy bigger than us created man, but man can also create a consciousness through technology, and that is hubris, to think that you can do what God can do. Now, maybe you can do something, but whether or not it's abhorrent or disgraceful or disgustful or against humanity is a different thing. The other thing is that in the past, people have come forward and talked about Russell Brand being at sex parties and in orgies and satanic orgies and things like this.
I went to an orgy party with Russell Brand. Yeah.
Oh my God, Richie.
He's saying he did a bunch of orgies and stuff. He
Oh,
was in a
wow.
bunch of orgies.
That's
he was
disgusting.
in satanic parties too.
Russell Brand.
Bro, he told me everything.
But I find it strange that there are a lot of people talking about celebrities engaged in large orgies, and I think that the reason why they're involved in these large orgies and other people can't see is because it's for the elite. If you go to like sex parties are closed, you know, it's with people that you know. If you go to orgies, it's with people that you know, you get invited in. And I think with the celebrities, they are their own club, they are an elitist club, and if you know what's happened to one, then you can tell on the other person. So it's a bit like when you're in bed with a very young girl, under the age of consent, you know, that's held against you. And so you have to obey what people are telling you. And I think that in the Hollywood scene, if everybody knows what everyone else's secrets are, then everyone keeps stum, which seems to have been what's happening. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is revelation, you know. Revelation is like the revealing, or the apocalypse is the revealing, isn't it? The end of days is a revealing of things. And it seems to me that there are a lot of revelations which are taking place. If you look at Jimmy Savile, you look at ICSA, IICSA, which is the investigation into child sexual abuse, which was done, set up by Theresa May in I think 2016 and finished in about 2019 or something, which looked at all of the churches and all of these grooming gangs. If you look at Schofield, that's come out. If you look at Russell Brand, that's come out. If you look at Epstein, that's come out. So there are a lot of things that are coming out. Now you might say, well, why are all these things coming out? It could be distraction. It could be because those people are dangerous. It could be because that's the way that light wants things to happen. We are now being notified publicly that these people that we love on television, like Rolf Harris or Jimmy Savile, these people that we thought were good people, these people that are around children, these people are not to be trusted. And what's happening is that there is this great division in society. We don't trust anyone. Men are predators. Men are bad. Men are evil. The people that we love, trust, the people that we admire, the people that we follow, they are all potential pedophiles. And this is creating a very sad story where I think men are distrustful. However, saying that, there are a lot of instances coming out where women working in nurseries are also pedophiles. Lucy Letby, also someone that kills people, children, just gone to prison, serial killer, newborn babies, just injecting them with air to give them heart attacks, whatever she's trying to do. And I think we're entering into a period where it's, you know, like what are we supposed to do? The divisions are just being created every day. Trump creates divisions. LGBT creates divisions. If you look at Russell Brand, if you look at the messages that are left on his channel, everyone supports him. Everybody. And there's this idea that's coming out that Russell Brand somehow, it's an interesting theory that he knew that these allegations were going to come out at some point in history. And so he set up this cult following in order to protect him. You know, it's sort of like a modern version of the ideas and concepts that Jimmy Savile was perhaps installing into the public consciousness to protect him when the revelations about him came out. And also, you know, he had a lot of lawyers, Jimmy Savile. We don't know about Russell Brand, but he's got a lot of money behind him. He's probably got, I don't know, between 50 and 100 million or more. So he's going to have a lot of people that are going to defend him as well. The other issue is that in the alternate right, which is not the alternate right, anything that doesn't agree with the right or the left and is libertarian is seen as the alternate right, and these are like the secret Nazis. So what's happening is when you're libertarian, or you're trying to be objective, or you're not siding with anybody, or you're not taking sides, left, right, up or down, they sort of label you as a Nazi. They label people like me as right-wing, but I'm not. I'm not left-wing either. I don't like politics. I think that they are both the same thing, controlled by the same people who are never elected or not elected. So I think that it's very difficult to... it seems almost that these people have been put into the alternative media and then exposed. That's what it seems like. It seems like Russell Brand, he was left. At the beginning, he was left. He never said anything that he was saying at the moment. He was very, very different in his ideas and ideology. He was coming from the left. Then he went to the alternate media, which the left sees as the alternate right, which is right-wing. And maybe they hated him for this. Maybe they want to destroy him. Maybe they want to punish him for leaving their cult. Maybe he was supposed to be going down the road of brainwashing people, and then suddenly he realized what he was doing and pulled out and started to say the right thing, and now he's being punished for it. Or maybe he tried to develop a cult following in order to protect him from allegations that he knew in the future were going to come out. Nobody knows, and this is what causes division. But the one thing that is known is that everyone's talking about it, which means that we're all occupied, especially myself making this video. Maybe even I'm part of the problem. We're trying to unleash or uncover what's really going on. And I think this is part of the theatre of the world. It's what, you know, we are, this is our entertainment. This is, instead of the gladiators and watching the gods, the gladiator gods being killed and devoured in front of us, and we're lactating emotion because we find this so interesting. The modern version of those Roman gladiatorial games is setting up people like Russell Brand or Jimmy Savile or Rolf Harris and pushing them to the top, making them absolutely loved, including Philip Schofield, and then looking for things on them that they've done, which all seem to be correct, and then giving that to the public, and then watching these guys fall, and we as the public enjoy watching this fall. And then when they get to the bottom, that's it. What happened to the newsreader? What happened to the newsreader that was apparently raping some underage boy when it turns out that this boy was of age and didn't have any complaints? What happened with Philip Schofield that was apparently grooming a young boy who never made any complaints and has since never made any complaints or tried to get any money? How about those people? How about Cliff Richard when the BBC and helicopters went to his house? And what happens is that some people are innocent and some people are guilty. And you never know which is which. And then it comes down to a subjective opinion of who you love. Those that love Russell Brand are going to stay with Russell Brand. They're not going to look at the facts. And you have people in the alternate media that you can attack, and they have done something. And then you attack other people that may not have done anything. And then because other people have been guilty, you then think that they could be guilty, or the people that are guilty you think aren't guilty because there are people in the alternate media that haven't done what's said has been done and have been proved innocent. And so you come into this post-truth world. This post-truth world is where you have absolutely no idea what's right, what's wrong, who's done what, and you come into this theatre, into this game of guessing and giving your opinion. And I think you need to look at it as an objective thing. You need to say, look, this is the entertainment. This is the Roman gladiator. This is the Roman gladiator entertainment that we have today. It's no longer about physically killing someone. It's about weaponizing sex abuse, especially towards men, and about pulling them down from those high echelons and thrones that they have sat on. And there's nothing better watching a god fall. Nothing better. Icarus fell. Icarus fell when he flew too close to the sun, and he made wings out of wax. But this is, I think, very different because the sun perhaps is seen as God. He tried to fly too close to God. He tried to understand God. He was arrogant. I think that a lot of these people, like Jimmy Savile and some of the allegations about Russell Brand, orgies and stuff like this, it's to do with an appreciation of pleasure and the material things, which is anti-God. So they're paying homage to an anti-God, and then somewhere along the line, the light manages to break that shield and protection that they have, and their world and protection crumbles, and we watch the theatre take place, and we love it. That's a problem. We are part of the problem, enjoying these things, setting them up, allowing them to be set up, and then eating the popcorn and watching these great giants become less than us. It gives us some sort of gratification. We are better than these gods. So every once in a while, you've got to see a god be destroyed so that you are reminded that you are better than them.